In the meeting room, the air was already thick with unspoken anxieties. A crumbling empire on the brink of bankruptcy was merely a bargaining chip in his grand design. Nduka's pen felt like a loaded weapon, poised to deliver the final blow. Looking for who to aim at, his eyes gleamed with calculating intensity as he signed away the dreams of those who had poured their hearts into the doomed venture. Nduka, the dangerous, intimidating, and deceitful manager, moved with the unshakable conviction of a predator. He was not merely selling a failing business. He was dismantling lives and livelihoods, forging his own empire from the ashes, and he had already proved, chillingly, that he would go all the way, to the point of shooting a living, breathing obstacle dead, to ensure his will was done. Stay with us to find out if his heart is brave enough to fight, even when victory seems impossible. What would you do if you were in his shoes? Let us know in the comments below.
Hello guys, haven't subscribed yet? Please subscribe now, hit the like button, and leave a comment to help.
The clock ticked relentlessly, each second amplifying the weight of the guest house's looming financial ruin. Emeka Okonkwo, a young attendant, entered carrying a tray of water glasses, his steps cautious but hurried. As he crossed the threshold, he collided with Nduka, who stormed in with a briefcase clutched tightly. Water splashed across Nduka's suit and soaked the papers he held, the ink smudging into illegible streaks. "You clumsy fool." Nduka's voice was a low growl, his eyes blazing. "Do you have any idea what you've done? These documents were critical." "I'm so sorry, sir," Emeka Okonkwo stammered, his face flushing as he knelt to gather the sodden pages. "It was just an accident," Miss Chioma intervened, but Nduka snapped back. "Accident? He ruined the papers. They're only papers. Nduka, papers can be replaced." Chioma said coldly. "I'll clean it up, miss." Emeka Okonkwo pleaded, kneeling with trembling hands. "An accident?" Nduka sneered, brushing water from his shirt. "You're a walking disaster. Miss Chioma, this is exactly why we need to fire him." Utter incompetence. Chioma's tone hardened. "We will not fire a man over spilled water. There are more important matters than this." "I'll clean it up, miss," Emeka Okonkwo pleaded, kneeling with trembling hands. "Thank you, Emeka Okonkwo," she replied, her voice softening. She turned to Nduka, her eyes narrowing. "Now, tell me, do we have any way to save the guest house? The bank's deadline is in 2 weeks, and we're drowning in debt." Nduka adjusted his tie, his composure returning but his tone grim. "I've reviewed the accounts. Even if reservations pick up next month, it won't be enough. The payments we were promised? They're vapor, clients who never follow through. If we don't sell now, we'll drown in debt." Chioma's face tightened. "I can't sell my father's inheritance. Nduka, my father built it from nothing. There has to be another way." Emeka Okonkwo, now mopping the floor, hesitated. He'd overheard enough to know the guest house's fate hung by a thread. Summoning his courage, he spoke up. "Miss Chioma, with respect, it's not true that reservations are failing. I've seen the books. Last month's receipts showed strong income." Nduka's face turned crimson. "Shut up. You have no right to speak." "Let him speak," Chioma cut in. "He works here. He may know something." Nduka sneered. "He's a cleaner. What would he know about numbers?" "With respect, sir," Emeka Okonkwo said, his voice steady despite Nduka's glare. "I delivered the financial receipts myself. The numbers were solid, better than what's being reported. I'm in my final term of accounting studies, miss. I know what I'm talking about." Nduka's laugh was sharp, cutting. "Accounting studies? You're a glorified janitor playing at numbers. Miss Chioma, we're wasting time on this nonsense." "Thank you, Emeka Okonkwo," Chioma said, her tone unreadable. "You may go." As he left, she turned to Nduka. "What's your plan, then? You're so quick to push for a sale." Nduka leaned forward, his voice low and urgent. We sell now, before the crisis becomes public. I've got a buyer, Philip Duru. He's ready to meet tomorrow. If we wait, the bank will take everything, and you'll be left with nothing. Chioma's eyes flickered with doubt. A buyer already? That's convenient. Set up the meeting in Nduka. But I'm not signing anything yet. Outside in the shadowed hallway, Nduka met Amara, the receptionist, his voice a hushed snarl. I told you to keep the reservation numbers low. We need the guest house to look like it's failing. Amara fidgeted, glancing over her shoulder. I can't just turn away clients who book in person. They'll get suspicious. Then lie better. Nduka snapped. The plan's almost in place. And that attendant, he's poking around too much. Fire him before he causes trouble. He's just an attendant, Amara whispered. He doesn't know anything. Don't underestimate him, Nduka hissed. Call Duru. Tell him we're ready. Meanwhile, Emeka Okonkwo sat in the break room, poring over photocopied financial reports he'd secretly kept. The numbers didn't add up. Discrepancies screamed of tampering. His heart raced as he wrestled with his conscience. If I tell her, Nduka will bury me. I'm just an attendant. But if I don't, she'll lose everything. He needed proof, something undeniable. Chioma approached, her face etched with worry. Emeka Okonkwo, you look troubled. What's wrong? He hesitated, then met her gaze. Miss, the cash flow statements, they don't match the full reports. Someone's hiding money. I can't prove it yet, but give me the last 4 months' reports, and I will investigate and find out what is going on. I know that I am indeed an attendant, but she interrupted, her voice sharp. Okay, I'll look into it myself. As Emeka Okonkwo nodded, Nduka strode in, his eyes narrowing. Sorry to just interrupt. Mr. Philip will be coming tomorrow for the important meeting. That was fast, Nduka. If only it had been the same fast that you equally applied to prevent the guest house's crisis. I'm just looking out for your interests. You know that the faster you are able to sell, the less money you are going to lose. I need you to give all of the cash flow reports from the last 4 months to Emeka Okonkwo, if you would be so kind. Why? Because I just need a second opinion. Miss, he is simply an attendant and nobody. You're not going to give him such sensitive, confidential information to an attendant. Of course I can. I'm the owner. Chioma shot back. Do it. As she walks out after instructing him to hand the files to Emeka Okonkwo, Nduka tackles him, grabbing Emeka Okonkwo's arm, his voice a venomous whisper. What did you tell her, you little rat? Think you can play hero? You're out of your depth. Emeka Okonkwo yanked free, his heart pounding. I'm just doing my job. You think I'm like you who wants to sell the guest house as if it were worth nothing. Nduka's smile was cold. What a stupid idea you have, because you don't know how operations work. What time should I come by for the documents? Tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Bring your mop. You'll need it when I'm done with you. Okay, I'll come by at 8. At the reception desk, good afternoon, greetings from Obodo Guest House. What do you need? Can you help me with a reservation for September 4th? I'm sorry, but we're already fully booked for September 4th. All right. Maybe in about 3 months there will be reservations, but I can't guarantee anything. Look, as soon as there's availability, I'll let you know, okay? Thank you. Thank you. Amara was on the phone with client, her voice strained. As she hung up, only to flinch as Chioma appeared. Why are you turning away clients? Chioma demanded, her voice like steel. I checked the books. We have openings. Amara paled. I must have mixed up the dates, miss. Mixed up? Chioma's eyes narrowed. I think it's pretty irresponsible of you to say there are no reservations when we're in this crisis looking for clients. It's a serious mistake. I'm sorry. And why does Nduka say there are no calls? This is the first call I've answered today. It's not like there are none, but not many. Okay, from today on, I'll be handling the reservations. I don't think that's necessary, miss. Of course it's necessary. From now on, I'm handling reservations. You're going to be on table services. Did you hear me? I'm the one in charge of reception for the past 5 years. Yes, you were in charge, but from the look of events, restructuring is necessary. Serve the tables now. Yes, miss, I'm going to serve the tables. Thank you. Later, by the guest house's pool, Chioma paced, flipping through the reports. The numbers clashed, columns twisted with contradictions. Frustrated, she crushed the sheets in her hand. Distracted, her foot slipping on the wet tiles. She slipped. Her body swayed over the edge of the pool. Strong arms lunged and caught her. She gasped, staring up into Emeka's determined eyes. "A little more and you'd have been in the water," he whispered. "That's the least of my problems," she murmured bitterly. Chioma's voice trembled. "Losing the guest house will hurt more. I don't know who to trust anymore." "You can trust me," Emeka Okonkwo said, his voice firm. "I wish I could believe that." "You must," he insisted. "Yes, allow me to just say something," Emeka Okonkwo asked. "Go ahead. Don't ever give up. True courage is in the act of fighting even when victory seems utterly impossible. Be like the lion, one who never let himself be defeated. Don't let them take away what's yours. And me? I will be here to help you so that they don't take it away from you. Why? Because you're a brave woman and my heart tells me to help you." "Thank you, Emeka Okonkwo. I'm going to just go see the papers. Let me review those reports. I'll find the truth. Don't sign anything until I tell you to do." "All right. Thanks, Emeka." She nodded, hope flickering in her eyes. For the first time, the air in the Obodo guest house's dimly lit office crackled with unspoken accusations.
Hello guys, haven't subscribed yet? Please subscribe now, hit the like button, and leave a comment to help.
Nduka leaned against the desk, his eyes glinting with a mix of defiance and menace. "I'm here for the papers." The voice cut through the morning calm, sharp as a chef's knife. His eyes narrowed, his posture radiating a dangerous mixture of certainty and aggression. He stood before Emeka Okonkwo, the unassuming attendant who knew too much. "I don't know how you convinced Chioma to go along with this insanity, but it won't last," Nduka said as he fears being exposed with the files. "You two are definitely up to something, and I'm going to find out exactly what it is. Give me the papers." Nduka, holding a file that contained the truth Emeka desperately wanted to suppress, met his gaze. "Do you really want them?" he asked, his tone deceptively calm as he held up the folder. Emeka's eyes narrowed. "Don't you dare," raising them high above the second-floor balcony. "No," Emeka Okonkwo cried out, but it was too late. With a wrathful sneer, Nduka flung the file downwards from the second-floor balcony. Papers exploded into the air, fluttering like startled birds, scattering across the lobby below. Emeka Okonkwo's face twisted with rage. "Oops," Nduka declared, a smug mask of feigned innocence on his face. "I accidentally dropped all of them. I really think it's going to be difficult for me to make any more copies again now." The deliberate destruction was a power play, a stark reminder of his control. "You are a cheater," Emeka Okonkwo hissed, his jaw tight. "If you want to, you can go right ahead and tell the young lady Chioma this situation. I'll tell her it was an unfortunate accident. Who do you honestly think she's truly going to believe? Her manager or the lowly poor attendant?" Nduka's words were poison, delivered with an arrogant tilt of his head before he strode away, leaving Emeka Okonkwo amidst the papers strewn across the floor like evidence of a crime. Downstairs, Nduka found Amara, the receptionist, looking flustered. "What are you doing here wasting time?" he demanded. She hissed, glancing over her shoulder. "The boss realized I was lying about the reservations. She's suspicious. The stupid boss told me to set the tables." Nduka's heart sank. Chioma knew. So now she really suspects? Amara shrugged, a hint of desperation in her eyes. "I don't think so. I told her I got confused. We absolutely have to close the sale today, or else the entire plan will completely fall apart." The plan hung heavy in the air, a dark cloud over the guest house. "Yes, indeed," Nduka said, his voice smooth as silk into the phone. "And the attendant? I've already taken care of him." The subtle pause, the chilling implication. "Don't tell me you." The voice on the other end trailed off, aghast. "No," Nduka chuckled. but he'll be busy picking up papers for a while. His cruelty was casual, almost dismissive. Now, get ready for the meeting. Change your clothes. But the boss doesn't want to see me. I'll tell her it's essential for you to be there. Change your clothes. Okay. The command was absolute, leaving no room for argument. Good afternoon, Miss Chioma, Nduka greeted, his charm polished but brittle. Chioma, the guest house's owner, sat behind her desk, her face a mask of fatigue and doubt. Mr. Philip will be here soon. I'd like to review the sales proposal with you now. Chioma's eyes flickered with irritation. I wish you had been that quick as you're doing now to prevent that very crisis at the guest house in Nduka. And also, I'm really surprised that anyone would quite want to buy this guest house in such rather bad shape. You're not implying that I... Nduka began, a feigned offense in his tone. I'm not saying anything bad at all, Chioma replied, her voice dangerously calm. What did the attendant tell you? It's really not good for you to completely trust people you don't know at all. I absolutely trust people I do know. And now, I'm going to lose all of this everything. Her voice held a note of profound despair, a vulnerability Nduka was clearly exploiting. All I really want to do is just to help you. And I do it because of the friendship I had with your father. The invocation of her father was a masterstroke of manipulation, designed to disarm. A knock at the door. Amara entered, looking uncomfortable. What are you doing here? Chioma demanded. I asked her to come, Nduka interjected, stepping forward with an air of authority. It's important that she's part of this negotiation. She is now the waitress, Nduka. With all due respect, miss, but she has a great deal of experience in these particular cases. Nduka was pushing, creating a false sense of legitimacy. All right, Amara, please stay right here. I truly want to see if you are indeed as good at negotiating as you are at the front desk lying. Amara's face darkened at the brutal honesty, a flicker of shame crossing her features. The trap was closing. The buyer has arrived. May I please make the offer? It will certainly be above the current market price. You won't regret it. Nduka pressed, the urgency palpable. Go ahead. Chioma's voice was barely a whisper. Excellent, Mississippi. Nduka offered a predatory smile and turned to welcome the guest. Before he left, Amara chipped in softly. I truly believe that you have completely the wrong idea about me. Why? Are you truly hiding something from me? Chioma's eyes narrowed, a desperate plea for reassurance. No, I just want you to know that my only wish is to help you. Thank you. Amara's words felt hollow, laden with unspoken guilt. Nduka met the buyer, Mr. Philip Duru, a man whose presence exuded a quiet, almost reptilian menace. Sir, good afternoon. Is everything ready? Yes, sir. She will certainly accept your request. She doesn't want mistakes. And she won't know. As long as you keep your end of the bargain. Philip's eyes gleamed with something predatory. No mistakes, Nduka. You know what's at stake. I will give you what you deserve. The whispers were chilling, revealing a deeper conspiracy. Come with me. I knew it, Chioma murmured, a cold dread settling in her gut. The guest house can still recover. A silent prayer, a desperate hope against the rising tide of deceit. Meanwhile, downstairs, Emeka, the lowly poor attendant, was not just picking up papers. He was collecting shattered truths. As he gathered the documents Nduka had so carelessly discarded, he noticed the discrepancies glaring back at him. Numbers that didn't add up, bookings that vanished from the records. His heart pounded as he realized the depth of the deception. The reception phone rang, a shrill interruption. Abodo Guest House? Good afternoon. Do you have availability for September 4th? A woman asked, her tone laced with frustration. My husband was told there were no reservations for the entire year. The entire year? That's right. Emeka blood ran cold. Who told you that? Because the guest house is currently operating normally at this time. Your receptionist, she replied. Why are you giving out false information? The pieces clicked into place with an alarming certainty. Emeka voice hardened. You know what? Come to the guest house. I'll give you a special discount for the inconvenience. That seems fair to me. Could it be today? Yes, right now. Thank you very much. I'll be waiting for you. In the executive office, the noose was tightening. Chioma faced Philip, Nduka, and Amara. Okay, Miss Chioma, let me introduce you to Mr. Philip Duru, a businessman who is willing to make you an offer far above market value. That could change your life. Nduka's voice was smooth as he painted a picture of financial freedom, but Chioma's gaze kept drifting to the door, as if expecting an interruption. Nice to meet you. And what exactly are you proposing? Chioma's voice was hoarse, her vulnerability a palpable thing. An immediate purchase. Your property is in a very prime location. I would like to include it in my current chain of operations, ensuring that you don't have to worry about debts or banks. You will gain complete peace of mind and enhanced liquidity. And I will take care of modernizing this place. Although as it currently stands, the available records clearly show that it's an unsustainable business. Chioma's eyes narrowed. And how do you know so much about my records? Because I had meticulously prepared them thoroughly for the negotiation. I always make sure to protect you, Nduka replied, his lie smooth as glass. Mississippi, opportunities truly don't wait. If you sign up today, everything will be ready in just a very short matter of hours. And if I don't sign, what happens? Not signing would be an unnecessary risk. We know that the bank is indeed lurking. This is truly your very best option. A game of trust and truth. The air in the dimly lit office hung heavy with the scent of old coffee and ink. Chioma's hands trembled as she gathered the papers, their edges sharp against her fingers. Each signature line a step toward selling her father's beloved guest house. The weight of the decision pressed against her chest, her pulse quickening with every tick of the clock. The door burst open, slamming against the wall. Emeka Okonkwo, an attendant with sweat beading on his brow, stormed in, clutching a worn ledger. Don't sign, Miss Chioma, he said, his voice low but urgent, cutting through the room's stifling silence. They're lying to you.
Hello guys, haven't subscribed yet? Please subscribe now, hit the like button, and leave a comment to help.
They're lying to you. Nduka's face contorted, his composure shattering like glass. Get out of here. Nobody gave you permission to come in, he roared, lunging forward as if to physically remove the young man. Chioma's hand froze over the papers. Let him speak, Nduka, she said, her voice steady but laced with doubt. She turned to Emeka Okonkwo, searching his face. What's this about? Emeka Okonkwo thrust the ledger forward, his fingers smudged with kitchen grease. The truth. Nduka reported $15,500 for last quarter, but the Real Reserve is over $50,000. In December, we had 98 rooms booked, not 35 like he claims. His words came fast, each one landing like a stone in still water. A chilling silence descended, broken only by the frantic ticking of the wall clock. The air crackled with unspoken accusations. The money is definitely there, Emeka Okonkwo insisted, his voice gaining a desperate certainty. But someone is clearly hiding it. The investor, Mr. Philip Duru, leaned back in his chair, his polished suit creasing slightly. This is nonsense, he scoffed, his tone dripping with disdain. Are you going to risk a multi-million-dollar deal because of an attendant's ravings? Nduka smirked, folding his arms. Exactly. A nobody who shouldn't even be here. Emeka Okonkwo's jaw tightened. They're not ravings. They're numbers. Math doesn't lie, Miss Chioma. You decide. Trust a slick manager and his shady investor, or the truth from someone who's seen the books with his own eyes. Chioma's gaze darted between the men, her mind racing. The room seemed to shrink, the walls closing in as the stakes grew heavier. She turned to Amara, the receptionist who stood in the corner, her hands fidgeting. Amara, Chioma said, her voice sharp. Is what Emeka Okonkwo says true? Don't lie to me, you could end up in jail. Amara's eyes widened, her lips parting as if to speak, but Nduka cut her off. Shut up, Amara, he snapped, his voice cracking like a whip. Miss Chioma, you're not seriously considering this? An attendant's wild accusations over my years of experience. I have someone who can corroborate my version, Emeka Okonkwo announced, his voice firmer now, a glimmer of defiance in his eyes. This just turned into a circus. Nduka scoffed, desperation creeping into his voice. No, Nduka, Emeka Okonkwo corrected, his gaze unwavering. This is truly the absolute truth. He turned towards the door. Miss Chioma, this is Miss Anastasia. The door creaked open again, and every head turned. Miss Anastasia, the guest house's client, stepped in, her face pale but resolute. Emeka Okonkwo gestured to her. She can back me up. Anastasia nodded, her voice trembling but clear. She clutched a sheaf of papers. They told me there haven't been any reservations since January, Miss Chioma, she stated, her voice quiet but unwavering. But I've had these conversations. They keep telling me there are no more reservations for the year. Yet the books show rooms empty that I know were booked through March. She held out the printout documents. Chioma's hand trembled as she collected them. The evidence was irrefutable. Names, dates, payments, reservations that never made it into the official records. The room crackled with tension, every rustle of paper and creak of a chair amplifying the growing dread. This is turning into a circus, Philip muttered, rising to his feet, his polished veneer slipping. I'm done here. No, Emeka Okonkwo said, stepping forward, his voice steady but fierce. This is the truth. The air in the room crackled like a live wire. The confrontation had reached its boiling point. Chioma's shock and disbelief were a physical weight. Her eyes, wide with horror, darted between Nduka, Mr. Duru, and the damning papers. You all are going to end up in jail, Miss Chioma yelled, her voice raw with outrage. Amara, tears streaming down her face, finally broke. It was all Nduka's idea. Shut up. Nduka snapped, a low, guttural growl escaping him. And you too, Philip, as well. Amara blurted out, pointing at Mr. Duru. I had no knowledge of this. Philip shot back, his voice rising, but his eyes darted toward the door. Oh, sure, right. Chioma's voice was dripping with scorn. Emeka Okonkwo, call the police, please. Mr. Duru scoffed, a desperate attempt to regain control. I'm a businessman, and I don't get involved in games. Call the police, Chioma repeated, her voice colder than ice, her gaze fixed on Nduka. Nduka's eyes darted around the room, wild and cornered. The threat of prison hung heavy in the air. His jaw clenched, a vein throbbing in his temple. I'm not going to end up in jail because of a waiter, he yelled, his voice cracking with fury and desperation. He reached into his jacket. The sudden movement snatched the air from the room. A metallic glint. A revolver. He pulled it out, its black barrel unnervingly steady as he aimed it directly at Miss Chioma. The world seemed to tilt. A gasp from Amara. A frozen silence from Mr. Duru. Think well what you're going to do, Nduka warned, his voice low and menacing, a terrifying calm replacing his earlier frenzy. You're going really too far, Nduka. Amara whimpered, her voice barely a whisper of fear. No one will take away what's mine, Nduka snarled, his finger tightening on the trigger. His eyes held a chilling, manic gleam. Before anyone could react, Emeka Okonkwo moved. A blur of motion, a desperate lunge. He tackled Nduka, pulling him down, throwing his body into the path of the weapon. There was a sickening thud, a muffled struggle, and then... Bang! The deafening shot echoed in the enclosed space, a brutal punctuation marked to the terror. Nduka scrambled to his feet, eyes wide with horror, the gun slipping from his grasp. Emeka Okonkwo lay on the polished floor, a rapidly spreading crimson stain blooming beneath him. Seeing what had just happened, Nduka and Mr. Philip Duru, their faces chalk-white with shock and dread, bolted. They crashed through the door, their footsteps fading rapidly down the hallway. Call an ambulance, Chioma screamed, stumbling forward, collapsing beside Emeka Okonkwo. Her hand went to the wound, trying to staunch the flow, but it was too much. Emeka Okonkwo's eyes, clouded with pain, found hers. A weak, bloody smile touched his lips. I did my part, he whispered, his voice fading. "They won't take your guest house away from you." His eyes fluttered, then closed. The silence that followed was broken only by Chioma's ragged sobs and the distant wail of sirens, growing closer, promising justice that felt devastatingly late. The guest house, her father's dream, hung in the balance, stained with blood and betrayal. Emeka Okonkwo was rushed into the hospital, his body wrapped in layers of bandages, his breath shallow but steady. The monitors beeped in rhythm, a fragile reminder that he was still fighting to be alive. Beside him, Chioma watched, her knuckles white, fear and gratitude warring in her eyes. Meanwhile, the wheels of justice, though slow, were turning. The stolen money and properties of the Obodo guest house had been recovered from the desperate clutches of Nduka and Mr. Philip Duru. Their reign of terror, built on deceit and violence, had crumbled. Hunted relentlessly, they were finally apprehended in dingy, forgotten hideouts, their bravado replaced by the cowering fear of men cornered. Justice, it seemed, would indeed have its day. But the memory of that night, the gunshot, Emeka's fall, haunted Chioma. He'd stepped into the line of fire, a shield for her and her father's legacy. As sunlight streamed in, Emeka stirred. "How is the guest house?" he rasped. Chioma forced a smile. "Safe, Emeka. Everything is accounted for. Nduka and Mr. Duru, they've been caught." Relief softened his features. "Good," he whispered. "I remember the shot. The sound so loud." He coughed weakly. "I thought for a moment." "Don't think about it," Chioma urged, her voice cracking. "You were so brave. You saved us all. You saved me." A tear traced a path through dried blood on his cheek. "They almost won, Chioma," he murmured, his voice fading. "They almost took everything. They threatened you." He mimicked Nduka's venomous words. "No one will take away what's mine." Chioma's breath hitched. The raw rage of that moment returned, and Emeka's explosive reaction. His split-second decision had changed everything. "But they didn't," she said, her voice firming with resolve. "Because of you. You made sure they didn't." She squeezed his hand. "And now they will pay. They will truly pay for what they tried to do, for what they did to you." Emeka squeezed back weakly. "Justice, it's a fragile thing, Chioma. So easily shattered. But it can be rebuilt," she countered, her gaze steady. "And sometimes it takes a sacrifice to remind people of its true value." The silence between them was heavy, filled with unspoken gratitude and the lingering threat. Emeka's breathing remained shallow, his wounds a testament to the battle fought. But in Chioma's eyes, a steely determination had taken root. The Obodo guest house, stained with betrayal, had been defended by courage. She would ensure the price paid that night, and its architects, would not be forgotten. The bandages on Emeka were a stark reminder of the peace finally within reach.
Wow, what a journey! One man's courage came at the highest cost, but it exposed the lies that could have destroyed everything. Now I leave you with this question. Would you risk everything, even your life, to protect the truth? Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to subscribe for more powerful stories of courage, betrayal, and redemption.
Hello guys, I hope you enjoyed our stories. Please hit the like button, leave a comment below and subscribe to our channel.